All right, let's take a look at this. Okay, I'll stand up portion here. Try and save us some time. My first question would be, are you trying to specifically get a takedown, or were you looking for a guard pull? Because if so, I think you really could have pulled guard a lot sooner. And we need to look at strategies in order to pull guards faster. I think the way your hands are arranged currently for the grips, like predominantly you can already have an effective guard pull. Because see here, if we go back a couple of frames, like we enter a situation where we are basically countering the takedown that forces you to guard pull, so you're not pulling on your own terms here. And that is also going to increase the difficulty of you being able to sweep because you're consuming your energy in order to recompose your guard. So from here I can see you have the half guard. With your right foot, you recovered closed already. My first ask would be, what are your best positions to set yourself up for sweeps? Now, generally speaking, I would say that opening the closed guard in order to get to an open guard position, either with the collar and sleeve, would be a great position. Because see here, especially because your opponent has posted their right leg up, you have a really good opportunity to keep expanding their base. If we take a look, bear with me, like on this leg, okay. If we're able to place your left foot on that knee instead and continually keep pushing it as we are pulling the cross collar and the sleeve to you, to your left side rib cage, you're going to be able to collapse their base a lot better from there. Let's take a look at what you ended up doing here. See, like you went back to, you kept yourself at the hip. They continued to go back to the knees down position. Now you've actively opened the guard again. Again, this is not a bad position to sweep. Let's keep taking a look at our opponent's base. I think you had an opportunity if we go back. From here, you need to find a method of getting more upper body connection. I think with your left leg, you had an opportunity to get the lasso, which would mean that you just generally have better connection to the upper body. And because you have better connection to at least one side of your partner's center line, so if we consider our partner's center line, we have the left and right side of our partner's body, okay? That would be lassoing on your partner's right arm with your left leg. Having that is also going to slow down the pace of how your partner is moving around you, that we can make better decisions. So let's continue to assess from here, because you did end up having your leg back on the outside position. You getting back into more or less the closed guard. We want to try and avoid going back and forth in these exchanges into the closed. I think you have a good opportunity to utilize your open guard. Oh, let's keep looking from here. Again, from here, you've chosen a side tilt angle on the right side of your body. You do, again, have potential to utilize a scissor sweep from here, but I'm kind of looking at your left leg, and the angle of your shin in relation to your partner is currently quite high in this frame. As you can see, like here, we have, it's quite, like, it's quite diagonal, which is generally good as a framing position. Okay, but for sweeping, we generally do want it to be lateral and horizontal to our partner's hip line, because we're going to use that as a method of also loading our partner closer to our center. And this time, when I say center, I mean center of mass. If we're able to get our shin to be horizontal to our partner's hip line, also using the collar grip as an assistant in this case, we're going to be bringing our knee in closer to our chest with the help of our pulling grip on the collar. And you're going to be able to either swipe the leg, your partner's left knee and leg out of the way, either with your right leg being on the outside of your partner's leg, or alternatively, if if you assess their base to be quite sturdy, because as we can see here, our partner has shoelaces down. This also means that the insteps are flat as opposed to active toes. Generally, this means that the person is going to be more weighted towards the backside of their feet, because you can see how it's a lot easier for our partner to bring their butt back to their heels. This does mean that, let me try that arrow again. Yes. So it generally means that the weight shift or the weight transfer of our partner as they sit back is going to be going in the backward direction. So often bringing them forwards will become a very difficult task. Okay. But if we bring our right foot to the inside of the knee line, so inside of your partner's knee line, we can actually push the knee out so far that we're able to collapse our partner's base. But again, that is dependent on the push and pull, the relationship of the push and pull between pushing that outside knee and also pulling the body in such a way that emulates a forward roll motion. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So, like, just from an observing perspective, it's not very clear when you're trying to execute sweep wise here. It does look as if you wanted the scissor sweep, but if we just rewind a couple of seconds, because of the way that your partner is also basing, I can see like they temporarily collapse. But if we look at that left knee of our partner, yeah, like they still have a point of base over here. The torso collapses, but the knee is not so far from the torso. The torso is still in line. Look at the way the torso is. Torso is still relatively in line with where the knee is. What we need to happen is for the torso to be further away from the knee. Again, if you just visualize the forward rolling motion, just like in the warm up, okay? In order to complete a forward roll, the torso must be in front of our legs or in front of our knee line, in front of our hip line. So essentially, a sweep is basically forcing our partner to complete either a forward roll, a backward roll, or side roll at most cases. So as you can see, throughout that entire exchange, the upper body does stay pretty in line with the partner's lower body. Okay, now let's take a look at what's happening here. So you see here, you have more or less more of an attacking opportunity to try and attack the upper body. It's a little bit unclear as to what you are attacking, but I can see that you've isolated the upper body, which is a nice temporary method of control here. I think another way that we could also utilize this position, since you have this control here, but again, when we are trying to squat, looking to your partner's left arm, we have the opportunity to try and set up a Kimura trap there. Also, alternatively, if we can get a gable grip on our partner's shoulder, get the gable grip by the shoulder line, and pull the shoulder into your chest. At the same time, you're going to use your top leg, your left leg, to push down on your partner's head, again, keeping their posture restricted so that you're also able to either, of course, we can attack the submission, the Kimura trap. There's also the option of the Choi bar. The Choi bar is basically a variation of an inverted arm bar. If we are using our left leg effectively, we're able to thread our left leg through underneath of the chest area and connect our left instep of the foot to the far side of the body, again from underneath of the torso. Then you would have an opportunity to try and isolate the arm, given that you are maintaining your gable grip or maintaining your Kimura trap and then extending into an effective control to get the armbar from that position. But sometimes, again, if we're not super confident about finishing the submission, we can use the submission threat in order to sweep, because often when utilizing a Kimura trap strategy, it's a very good method of sweeping our opponent to get to the top position. Because again, if we are taking our partner's arm through that range of motion that generally will lead to a submission, our partner should be encouraged to defend in such a way that they will either roll or, well, they're going to break that shit otherwise. They will most likely roll. And then you're able to capitalize on taking the top position. Then you can follow through with the submission if you wish to. Yeah, as I see you spend a bit of time here. You're doing a good job with restricting the posture with that top leg. I like that. I can see that it seems like you had the idea to also go for that Kimura trap, which was good. So let's take a closer look at that and see like what happened. Because I think you were initially doing a good job with the posture restriction, but look, as we can see, our partner was able to regain and restore that posture quite easily, quite readily. Okay. What I noticed, it does seem like you're in quite a flat back position. I'm going to take us back one more time. And potentially I might slow down the frame. Because yeah, here is restricted, but it looks like you're quite flat. I would ask that you bring your left hip out more, so one hip escape. Let's see, as soon as you bring that leg over, your partner is able to change the angle, is able to start moving around, and you lose that position. Okay, just take a look at it one more time. So I think if you're a little bit more side on with your hip, like that hip, like just hip escape, so your left butt is coming out, you're going to be more on your right butt cheek. There is this element of tempo changing that is related to timing in jiu-jitsu, and you see like you were doing the correct thing by restricting your partner's posture, right? Because you can see that clearly our partner's posture is restricted with the weight of your leg, but in order for it to be more effective to get to the next position, there was a lack of acceleration into a next position. Perhaps again, I am talking from the point of view that me viewing this, my next logical step, if I were you, is to thread my leg underneath of the body in most cases. I can't see currently any intention to do that particular maneuver. So my assumption here is that you're just trying to get the Kimura, trying to finish from there. Because yeah, but you do a good job with your right leg. I see that you're like framing against your partner's hip line, against the stomach, so that's good. As you can see, it's easier to retain the guard in this position. But it's good to identify that you clearly had at least 2 or 3 positions where you could have swept. I think the finalizing details of finishing the sweep was just missing a little bit, but you're almost there. So I would like you to give your legs a little bit more intention, because I see that your legs are like hanging out by the hip line, but sometimes not always pushing or creating a connection to the partner's hip line. As you can see, like here, I would identify most of this as you being on the defensive cycle. See, there's a lot of active framing. When you're actively framing, that's taking away from your opportunities to attack and pursue the sweep. I can see your right hand looks like it's looking for the cross collar. Your hand is on the sleeve. Again, if you want to follow through and message me more about this, I think it would be good to really understand like what sort of game you were trying to implement. Because again, it's not very clear from the positions. Apart from, I saw a lot of half guard. I saw a lot of opening of the close guard, like of you playing close guard to get to more or less a scissor sweep position. And I saw a lot of opportunities where you did open your legs in the close guard that we could have funneled more to upper body guards like the spider lasso, maybe increase our understanding of collar and sleeve. I think you do definitely have a lot of opportunities to sweep, but by the end of it, you got past more because you were fatigued as opposed to your opponent being superior in skill level to you. Hope that helps. Please reach out. Let's have a discussion about your game and like how we can make your sweeping more effective. Hope this helps.